Here's the objective. But first I'm gonna ask you a question. Why are you here at the training center? Why are you here? Is anybody here because somebody made you come? Like you had no choice in it, it was like you going, so nobody got that option. Why are you here?
To become better at wrestling.
To get better at wrestling. To learn. Somebody else? Any other hands? Go ahead, back in the back. To develop a better mindset. So, all these things this is literally the reason why I came here. Like the reason why I came here is to get better. Like Coach, I'm definitely a pirate. I try to pull things from every single coach that presents and/or shows technique. I really do try to get better. And I'll make you laugh. I recently got my gold level certification, and I feel like I'm just getting started, if that makes any sense. So for all the coaches in the room, please stay on that path. It's incredible. A lot of opportunities. So and here's what I'm gonna do. I'm trying to help you. Like that's my only goal, right? My goal is to help you get better so you're programmed to win. And I've did this with senior level athletes. I've done it with high school kids. A little more trickery when it comes to high school kids. Like typically I spoon feed them because everybody is not at the same level. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kind of give you some tips to help you mentally before you compete. Don't get me wrong. I've watched you guys in the room. All you guys are pretty competent, at least it looks to me. Skill levels are high, and this is great. For non-8th graders, how many guys competed last season in folk style? Everybody, right? Except for the 8th graders, don't count y'all, but everybody else. And some of you guys I saw at the Open, some of you guys I saw at Nationals, NHSCAs. So I see a lot of familiar faces. So, but like every athlete, I think everybody struggles with right before you go out, right? Like you get the butterflies. I know Coach yesterday talked about growth mindset. You know, my son often reminds me of this. Like a loss happens, he's like, hey, let's take it back to the lab and figure it out. Growth mindset, right? So what I want to do is I want to kind of give you a little bit of help to kind of use your 5 senses to get you close to peak performance. Okay, so in the beginning it's going to be a little boring, but I promise it'll get better. All right, so first, I'm glad everybody's here. Does anybody know who Serena Williams is? Michael Phelps, Jordan Burroughs, Dan Gable, Cael Sanderson. You guys know all those guys? What do they have in common?
They're successful.
They're successful. Okay. Give me some more.
Olympic gold medals.
You know what? I venture to say almost everybody I named has an Olympic gold medal or world title at least, or the best in their craft. What if I told you, kind of just piggybacking off what Coach said yesterday, every single one of those athletes, I've either watched video and seen them do it or seen them do it live and in person. Literally works on their mindset. And not only do they work on their mindset, but they have physical and visceral cues that they use in competition. So, and we'll get back more detail into that in a little bit, but this is what I'm gonna kind of show you. Who knows the 5 senses? Boom. What are they?
Smell, hearing, sight, touch.
One more.
Taste.
Taste. That's why the food's on your desk. So you'll hear me use a word, and it's going to be a physical anchor. Okay. So everybody know what an anchor is, right? It keeps you locked in place if you're a ship. So people, we use anchors. You actually do it already, and you don't even realize it probably. So imagine waking up every single day, locked in. You know what you're going to do. You got success, your success game plan. Coach Marty helped you with it. You know, Coach Kyle helped you with it, and you're like on this path. You know it. It's not even a question. Whether you take a loss or not, you don't even focus on that. You just know, like Conor McGregor, you're going back to the lab and you're getting back to it. Imagine if you knew you would be successful. Like there was nothing that could stop you. Whatever you wanted to do. If you wanted to be a doctor, if you wanted to be an attorney, a school teacher, firefighter, a soldier, an Olympic champion or a world champion wrestler, you knew that you were on the right path. You knew you were doing everything you could do. Wouldn't that be a really good feeling? I think it would be. So what if I told you that you kind of already could be on that path, like moving yourself to reality? And the key is, I think, using those physical anchors, sight, smell, taste, touch, right, to get there. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go ahead and transition to the next slide. Here's the boring part, neuroscience. And I'm not gonna kind of read it to you, I just want you can kind of pop up and look at it. But it's basically the study of how the brain works, whether it's the brain is functioning properly or if it has any like issues, okay? Everybody understands what cognitive function is, right? Okay, all right. But here's the most important part, and we talked about it a little bit yesterday, that growth mindset, neuroplasticity. Your brain is constantly wiring and rewiring itself. Let me give you an example. You guys are all pretty young, I'm kind of old. Do you remember when you first started learning a drop step? Like knee over toe, right? Probably every single one of you guys, first wrestling practice, some coach had you do that. Yeah, something like that, sprawling. Is your sprawl better now and your shot better now? Or was it like awesome the first time you did it? It's better now, right? How many times do you think you've hit a drop step? Whether it's practice, matches, how many times? Thousands. Probably thousands. How old are you?
14.
When did you start wrestling?
When I was 5.
So you've probably hit it easy 10,000 reps a year. And if you were really, really consistent, like as you got older, you probably 10,000 in a matter of days. So I know that sounds crazy, right? If you want, I'll do the math. I teach math. I'll show you the math. If you hit, I don't know, somewhere between 250 and 300 penetration steps a day, you'll hit 10,000 in a couple weeks. So just to give you a little idea of how fast. But that's your brain. That's neuroplasticity. When you're in class and you learn math and it was difficult at first, and then you start to figure it out, then you get some reps like homework. Like you guys think homework is a punishment. It's not. It's actually how you learn. That's like not doing homework is like not practicing all weekend and going to a tournament and expecting to do well. That doesn't even make sense, right? So if you want to be a good student, use the same thing. So your brain is constantly rewiring itself, and it's based on experience, environment, and input. And on a sidebar note, you guys are actually experiencing this right at this second when you were in practice yesterday, when you got in this environment and your body and your brain started to adapt to the elevation. Like your brain is constantly doing this, and most of the time you're not aware of it. But what we're gonna do is be extremely intentional, okay? All right, so the power of sensory reprogramming. I'm gonna hit this quick clip. Hopefully the volume's working. Hold on one second. I'm sure it's working. Let's try it again. All right, Mike, I might need some help.
No, plug your audio in, maybe.
I'll try it. Yeah,
See if that. Thank you.
see if that works.
Lines. When I go out of bounds, typically it's after a takedown or I actually,
Sorry, guys. Let's try it again. There you go.
What are you thinking about when you pull those socks up?
I pull my socks up because I want to look good. I'll be absolutely honest with you. I pull my socks up because I don't like my socks looking all crazy and disheveled. I want my socks to be perfectly aligned. So when I go out of bounds, typically it's after a takedown or some sort of sequence. My ankle is grabbed, they got my socks down looking silly. So pull them up, kind of readjust them just so they are even with the opposite side. But now it's become this thing. But it's a reset point. It's a mental reset for me. every time I go out of bounds, there's a break in the action. It's like, whew, okay. All right, so I'll take my time. I'll walk around the referee, walk around the guy. I'll try to push the guy to the opposite side. I'll adjust my socks. Right, like there's just little things that I do in order to keep myself focused. So every reset is a time where I'm like, okay, you got that one.
What did he say? So at first he was like, I don't want to look silly, right? He's pulling the socks up. You guys watch Burroughs compete. You've seen him do that, right? So, but then what did he say it was? It was a mental what? Reset. Do you guys already have some mental resets? You got anything you put in practice already? All right. So, and this is super important. And I'll give you like my opinion and my feedback here. Like the mental resets, those anchors, that's an anchor for him. That is a physical anchor. He's probably done that his whole career. Well, maybe not whole career, but probably for sure when he was at Nebraska, because I've seen him do it. So like that physical anchor is a mental reset for him. He goes out of bounds, there's a break in the action. Like I said, like I kind of trick my high school kids. Like we have these cues, like whenever they go out of bounds or there's a stop in the action, they always look at the corner. They don't look anywhere else. They don't, like, it doesn't matter if the referee's screaming at them, they look to the corner, right? Because some kids' cues are different. Everybody's a little different. But I just want to let you know, like, that programming is honestly, in my opinion, I think it's critical to your success. All right, so I got one more for you. So I told you, what kind of anchor was that Burroughs just did? Physicals. All right, so tell me what kind of anchor you think this is. All my old guys, look at them, look at them, look at them, look at them. Anybody heard this song before? What movie? Right, yeah. I actually was at the Rocky statue in Philly. So, now, real quick, Coach, I saw you moving, so I got to call you out. When you heard that, what did it do for you?
Heart rate went up.
Your heart rate went up?
Now, Gary went up. I got to fight with my
So your heart rate went up. You got a little excited?
Oh, yeah.
And a little nostalgic, right? I saw you pumping the fist, right? Doing his boxing drills. And the whole time he was doing that, he had a smile on his face, right? So now, somebody tell me, what sense did he use? Because the picture's pretty, it's all right. Which one? Sound, hearing, right? Audiological, yep. And I wanted to give you those two examples because, to be honest, when I walk around tournaments, I see a lot of you guys in headphones, and that, I mean, I don't know about you, but I definitely had a playlist. Like, not to be crazy, but I called it my kill playlist, because, you know, that was the kind of style of wrestling that I did. And this song was actually on that playlist, which is kind of fun. So, moving forward. Sorry, I'm working on my technology. All right, so now we just did a kinesthetic one, and we did a audiological or a sound anchor. Now what I want to do is I want to actually use all five senses, and obviously a lot of this is going to be individual, and like the other coaches said, whenever you learn something, you tweak it to make it work for you, right? Okay. All right, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna do a little bit of interactive stuff, and we're gonna do some activities going forward, and the goal is to actually help you learn how to rewire your brain. Because like I said, this is all gonna be a lot of individual stuff, right? So like, I give you a perfect example. For my taste one, this is so weird because I really don't drink pop even now, unless I'm like sick and need a ginger ale. But when I was competing, Faygo Peach Pop was my physical anchor. I would literally take one peach pop, I'd sip it before I wrestled a match, and I don't think it physically did anything for me, but I liked the taste, and because I liked it, if I competed well, not won or lost, but if I competed well, I gave myself another sip after the match, just a sip, because obviously, you know, you're competing, you want your body to work right, but that was one of my taste anchors. All right, so moving forward, we already talked about what the 5 senses are. So, who has TikTok? Who has Instagram? Ah, come on. I'm even on Instagram. All right, for my old guys, who got Facebook? Yeah. Like, I got Facebook. I ain't that old. So, your brain processes literally 60,000 times faster. Your eyes, 60,000 times faster than you reading text. So when you see visual images, right, your brain, that's why you guys like it so much. What do they call it? Doom scrolling? That's why you can't help it. Like they're very smart. I mean, these people are very smart who create these algorithms. Like, I give you a perfect example. When it's like the college season, I constantly get college matches. You guys say? Isn't it crazy? Like, you get college matches. When the world championships come up, I get all those little feeds because it knows what I want to look at, right? And I'll watch like, oh my God. And I'm watching all these videos. And think of how fast you scroll on TikTok. How fast? How many, if you just sat on TikTok you got TikTok, you said, right? Instagram? Yeah. All right, so if you sitting on Instagram and you just scrolling for an hour, how many images do you think you saw in that hour? A lot? Anybody else, everybody agree? Right? So now imagine that same input, imagine if you like hyper-focused it, right? So obviously you could have videos of yourself, but imagine if you even hyper-focused it even more. Coach yesterday was talking about visualization. Like, that was kind of my thing. Like, we didn't have, in the 1900s, the technology that exists now didn't exist then. We had to use these things called VHS tapes. And that flipped, Coach. I'm not even kidding. I had a VHS tape of the 1988 and 1992 Olympics, and it was like gold to me. I mean, me and my cousin literally got in a fist fight because he wouldn't give me my tape back. Oh well, I won. I got my tape back. But John Smith was the guy, right? And I was a smaller guy. I was a lightweight at that time, not so much anymore. But I wanted to see why he was winning. And then when I heard about this Cuban guy who beat him in the early rounds, I wanted to see what that guy looked like. I was like, he beat John Smith. Like, that's crazy, right? So let's see what Brandon Slay has to say about visualization.
All right, we're here with Brandon Slay, Olympic champ. What is your mental edge when you compete?
My mental edge when I wrestled in competition, but also now in life, is visualizing who I want to be, visualizing how I want to succeed, because I'm a big believer if you can see it in your brain and you can visualize yourself succeeding in that particular manner, then I believe you can do it. And, you know, in connection to that, when I have doubts and fears, I really try to take those doubts and fears, kind of crush those in my brain, see those disappearing away, and then I replace those immediately with something positive. Again, visualizing how I want to succeed and who I want to be. In the past as an athlete, but now as a person, as a coach, as a father, as a husband, that's my mental edge.
Awesome, thank you.
So I'm just going to say, I think if Olympic champion Brandon Slay uses visualization, and Jordan Burroughs, and Serena Williams, and Michael Phelps, if these high-level athletes, I wish Coach Jaden was in here, because I'd ask him. I mean, he does have a couple world titles. Like, I wonder how much visualization that he did as an athlete. I know as an athlete, I wrestled for Rod Herman for a number of years, and that was something that he put on us constantly. Like, we had these little journals and some affirmations there, but we'll get into verbals in a moment. But visualization is a powerful tool. Like, and what makes it so powerful, you hit 50 single legs, right? And you mentally going through, like, just visualizing yourself hitting it crisp and perfect. Your brain doesn't recognize the difference. Like, the same visual inputs at 60,000, you can do it in your brain over and over again, like rehearse. I mean, I know they call it rehearsal. Like, you can literally walk yourself through whole matches. There was a young man, he wrestled for Nebraska, now that I think about it. I don't know if he graduated from there, but I know he wrestled here. He was a Michigan kid. His name is Paul Donahoe. And I remember watching this kid, like, went high school at the time. He was wrestling at a tournament I happened to be at. And he was like in the corner, sitting down. I thought he had like lost his mind or something. Like maybe he lost his mind. He was literally in the corner telling himself every single thing he was gonna do in this match. Like, he was like, I'm gonna move my feet, I'm gonna put my hands on him, I'm gonna bully him, I'm gonna shove him through the table once or twice. I was like, wow, this is crazy, right? And my buddy Roy Hall was like, hey, watch this kid, watch. He had been telling me about this guy. It's like, watch this kid. And sure enough, I kid you not, whistle blows. Everything I heard him say, he did until the kid broke, and then he ended up pinning the kid. I don't know if he scripted running the score up the way he did, but I know he scripted scoring a lot of points and pinning that kid, and that's exactly what he did. Interestingly enough, I saw a video of Brent Metcalf maybe a year ago or a couple years ago, and he said he learned that from Paul. I guess they were teammates in high school at one point. Pretty interesting stuff.
All right, we're here with Brandon Slay,
I'm working on
Olympic
it, guys.
champ.
I'm sorry. There you go. All right. Jordan popped up in here.
Let's see. So I like to listen to music before all matches. It kind of like zones me out.
Did you guys get it, or did it go too fast?
Let's see. So I like to listen to music before all matches. It kind of like zones me out.
Did you hear what he said? Huh?
That zones me out.
Yeah. Right before that, he said he likes to visualize, and then it just zones him out. And that's, you know, I'll send you the link if you want to watch the whole thing. It was pretty interesting. Like, his pre-match routine, he kind of literally, with the exception of taste, he didn't get into that, but with the exception of that, like what he listens to, what he says to himself, what he says to himself out loud, what he says to himself inside, what he visualizes. It's very interesting. Like seeing high-level athletes do the same thing. And Coach did something yesterday. I can't remember who he had called up, but he said had two kids up, and one kid was like, I'm strong, I'm strong, I'm strong. Another kid was like, I'm weak, right? And it was pretty comedic, like watching it happen. But think about it, like if I'm walking off the mat thinking like, oh man, we've seen it. Like I've seen it literally. I actually experienced it. I think maybe my freshman year in the district, seeing a kid like he was jacked. I was like, dude, how is he freaking 100 pounds? Like he looked like Darion, but somehow he cut that weight, right? And the kid, he was returning district champ. I watched this kid, I kid you not. I'm in high school, and make no mistake, I was the skinny freshman. I was strong, but I was skinny. And I watched him do like 200 push-ups, like in the bullpen, getting ready for a match. Probably helped me when I really think about it. But I was so intimidated by what that kid looked like. I was like, man, he looks strong. And you know, he's like doing his thing, and I'm kind of pacing because I'm nervous. And then one of my coaches looks at me. He was like, how many pull-ups do you do? I was like, probably like 30. He was like, so you can lift that kid 30 times because he weighed in what you weighed in at. He was like, you're strong too. He must have just knew what I was thinking, right? Because I probably was like, oh God, you know, this monster. And I knew he was good. And it was a good match. I ended up taking him into overtime and taking him down to make my first district final. Then I got beat in the final, but that's okay. I was happy I beat that kid. But I think after my coach did that, I literally had a mental shift. I was like, I am strong. Yeah, I am strong. Now, you couldn't tell by looking at my singlet that I was strong, but I was strong. And it was literally that instant, and they kind of brainwashed us like that. Like these guys were like, you know, they worked at the steel mill, my high school coaches. These guys were like, worked at the steel mill, probably drank a six-pack after school, but they love the kids, and we worked real hard. And, you know, they really did have us believing. We would literally do self-talk in our wrestling room every single day. And I didn't understand the value of it until I got older and I started coaching a team. But what you say to yourself and what you don't say to yourself is extremely powerful. Coach hit on this yesterday. Like, and I said it earlier, your brain is very neuroplastic. Whatever you tell yourself, that is what you're gonna believe. And I recommend to you guys, like, figuring out a way to kind of keep repeating these positive things about yourself, and don't just fluff it, right? Don't fluff it, like, because that's not real, and you're gonna know it's not real. But if you run every day, you know, maybe that's something like, I put a little bonus there. Put a playlist in there. Make a playlist and put your voice in it. I mean, I think it's a really pop. I had a kid that did this years ago. I was like, that's a really good idea. But have your pregame playlist, and maybe every now and then put your own voice in there. And give yourself some receipts. If you're a guy who get in the weight room, say that. If you're somebody who runs every day, say that. Like, tell yourself, I'm the best conditioned athlete in the state or in the country, right? Because chances are, if you're consistent like that and you got the receipts, it is real. It is real. Be careful what you say to yourself. I always tell young people that in my class. Super important. I'm still navigating. This is so funny. All right, here we go. All right. So, your body and mind is connected, right? And not only that, but state. Remember Coach here in Rocky, started smiling, boxing, moving, heart rate got up. All of this stuff is connected, right? So even in practice, like you ever seen a teammate or experienced it where maybe you're a little tweaked and you go into practice and you're like, man, I feel like going with Tommy today because I know Tommy gonna go hard, right? So you find an easier partner because you're a little sore, a little stiff, right? What did you just tell yourself?
You'll be.
That's right. You kind of gave yourself a cop out, you know. And like I said, all of this comes together. And I think that that's touch, by the way. Those kinesthetic triggers, the pulling up the socks. I know my son, like, before he goes out, he likes burns my hands every single time. He's like, bam! And I'm like, oh, okay. Tough guy, right? Right? And I hit his hands much softer. Maybe, I don't know. I do it enough, but, you know, because, and he tells himself, literally, he says this every single time. I show it to you on video. He goes, who the best? He looks me in the face and asks me who's the best. And he goes, I'm the best. And he destroys my hands, whether he wins or loses. And the beauty of it is, even when he gets beat, you know, because it does happen, right? Even when he gets beat, I'll ask him, I'll say, hey, you good? I'll watch him in the matches. He does this little weird thing with his singlet straps. And I know that's an anchor for him, right? I mean, I've watched him wrestle pretty much his whole career. So I know his anchors, right? I got a kid, a 113 pounder. His anchor is literally pulling the socks up. It doesn't matter, like, or he'll like say that it's out of bounds. He's looking in the corner, right? And he's like, you know, what are you doing, bro? Like, your shoe isn't even untied, your sock isn't even, but if he gave up a takedown or the kid pushed him out, that's his jam, that's his thing. You know, and just on a sidebar note, I've seen a lot of guys do stuff. I remember Kerry, before he would go out and beat, he would like stomp the mat. I thought it was the weirdest thing. Kerry Colak, I'm probably showing my age again. He's the head coach at Navy now. But I remember watching him, he would stomp the mat. I'm like, what is he doing? Like, I know his shoes are wrong. I watched him time, but that was his thing, right? That was his thing, letting him know that his body's ready to go and he's fired up. And I think the physical anchors, the kinesthetic anchors, are really important because I know for me, it was an immediate, when I say immediate, I mean, I'm talking instantaneous. Like, my brain was like, oh, it's time to go to war, right? So, you know, I think these are things that we're gonna kind of tap into in a second, especially if I was feeling doubt. Guess what, guys? I want you to go ahead, we're gonna do something weird. I want you to close your eyes and take whatever little piece of chocolate or food you got and go ahead and eat it. Now, right after you eat it, close your eyes. Now, if you got a preference for Kit Kats or I don't know, but you like Skittles, you look like a Skittle guy. If you like Skittles, do the same thing later on with like a Skittle. Now, I want you to visualize, like Paul did, a match going exactly the way you think it should. You're in the Fargo finals, you're in the US Open finals, you're in your age group world team trial finals, and you know, like I'm going fake, I'm moving my feet, I'm putting the hands on them, I hit my single, I'm running backside, I'm lacing them up, tech fall first 15 seconds. If that's how you run your matches. Now I'm body locking them, going for 5. Busy hands, busy feet. Right? Now, while you got your eyes closed, all of you guys have been in a wrestle room, you've been in a gym, you've been in an arena. This is the hard one to do. It's hard to recreate. But you got to use your imagery here. I want you to remember how it smells in the gym, right? I want you to, I don't know what that smell is, like a little musty, little something, right? Visualize. Seriously, close your eyes and visualize. It seems simple, but run yourself through it. What does your match look like? How physical are you? How much are you moving your feet? How many times are you Mitchell Nesson-Brinken, faking left, going right, faking right, going left, going high, low, and getting a volume? Are you a volume attacker? Are you a front headlock guy? Whatever you do, visualize it, right? And here's what I want you to do now. You go open your eyes. All you guys have had success before. You know what it feels like to get your hand raised. And what you want to do, whether you get your hand raised or not, you want to compete, right? And that anchor well, obviously it's a pseudo anchor because I could tell you like gum, right? You're a gum eater. That's what he's like, I don't know, coach. But some guys chew gum. I mean, I know the guy who I coach an athlete, he chew gum all the way up to the edge of that, then he spit it, like right in the garbage. I'm like, that's so disgusting, but you know, he did a good job, so I'm not gonna beat him up. But you need to get something to signal. It's time to go.
The idea of using our 5 senses is to live an even better life or become even more successful. We need to create a representation of how we would want our lives to feel, look, smell, taste, and even sound like. So I decided to put these last 2 senses together because they actually work very well with one another. Taste and smell are the 2 most primitive and fundamental senses of all. They activate memory and trigger emotions. So the goal of these 5-day videos is for you to make small shifts in your life and just see what happens. Surround yourself with everything that is going to lead you where you want to be. And if a taste or a smell triggers an emotion or a memory that you don't want to feel or is not congruent with what your goals are, you are now equipped with the necessary tools to not let it affect you. So I hope these ideas on how to view your senses differently were able to help you the same way that they helped me.
All right, so we got a couple activities we're gonna do beyond this, and I give myself a little bit of like little notes and stuff in here because I want to make sure I don't miss anything that's super important. So what you just did when you were closing your eyes and you were visualizing. Now we're going to do something else, right? So obviously, like I said, flips or Cheez-Its may not be your flavor, but so we'll omit the taste part. But here's what I do want you to do. I want you to go ahead and just think of 1 or 2 affirmations. Like, I'm unstoppable, I don't know. Like Coach was saying yesterday, some positive things you can say to yourself. So just think of something right now, just one word. We don't have to go into like 3 or 5 or whatnot. But think of one word, like I'm unstoppable, I'm strong, whatever you come up with. And when you got something, raise your hand. What you got?
I can do this.
I can do this.
I'm the best.
Ooh, that's a good one. I'm the best. I hear that one often. All right, so now you don't have to yell it or scream it, but I want you to say it out loud. Just wherever you at. You can do it in your normal voice. You ain't gotta like yell it or scream it.
I'm the best.
Say it, right? Don't be shy. Just whatever you do. No. You gotta music guys. That's how we know you never practice in the dance. He never did. All right, so real quick, I want everybody to stand up. I know y'all been sitting a lot. So stand up. Then you got your word, you got your affirmation, right? Now watch this. I'm gonna do it first, and then you repeat. And I want you to tell me what's the difference. And then I want you to repeat. Don't say mine. Say yours. But do it like I'm really tough. Everybody got it? I'm really freaking tough. What was the difference? I'm really tough. I just put an anchor here. Did everybody see that? I just put an anchor here.
How about it?
I'm tough. I'm the best. I'm about it. All right. So, what was the difference between the first one and that last one? Energy. Come on, help me out. Confidence. Demeanor. How about belief? So, and I'm not joking. I really know I'm tough. Like, there's no question. Those are things I don't even have to challenge anymore. So I just give you my morning. I know some of the coaches probably walked in on it. Maybe you guys saw it. I put the treadmill in there on the incline. I walk for about 2 minutes, and then I ratchet it up. What's your sprint? Like, if a match is close and it's a minute left, when do you start your sprint?
Right then.
At a minute?
Yep.
You can sprint straight for a minute?
Yeah,
That's impressive.
because I'm fast.
He said, because I'm fast. Minute, you can sprint for a whole minute? About 30. I agree. So you know what, Coach? I'm going to take some of these guys out on the track. I want to see them sprint for a minute. Because there's not many human beings on the planet that can sprint for a minute. I'm not even kidding. But what I did was, I challenged myself. I put it on the incline. I started at 5. That's not fast. And then I went up to 6. And 4 sprints. And then I slowed down. Then went up to 7. Then 8. Then 9. Then 10. And I was laughing because Darion thinks he can beat me in the sprint. It's the funniest thing. And I do that like every day. So, but here's the next part, right? So you got your affirmation, right? You guys can sit down. You got your affirmation. I can see that everybody doesn't have a pen. So if you have a pen, you can do it now. I have 2 pens. I don't have a whole bunch. But what I would like for you to do is give yourself a cheat sheet. And your cheat sheet is going to be pretty simple. And I'm actually going to get this guy off of here. All right. So you got your note card? Everybody ready?
Like, because I know there are kids in our room that will drill something all week, and when it's time to execute in a live situation, they just want to win. So, how do you get it across them? Like, hey, you might have to sacrifice a takedown or 2 in this wrestling room, but you got to get better at this position.
I know, it's so hard. It's almost like this first time you do it in the match, then it's like a real move. You know, it's not really a real move until like, bam, like outside step, lift them up, 4 point. All right, now I can actually do it.
Yeah.
But to get to that point, you know, because you always want to win, right? You don't want to like take a risk that's unnecessary that'll put you in, you know, a chance of losing. But at some point, you got to risk it for the biscuit.
Heard that.
Love Frank Molinaro. So, Coach Cheney said this earlier. It's like, if you go to practice and remember I asked you, why are you here? The first question I asked you, why are you here? Everybody said that they wanted to get better. Every single person. Everybody said nobody forced them to come here. So I want to bring this back into your mind right now. You got to risk it for the biscuit. And I don't know. I think practice is like probably about the safest environment in our sport. Like, if you and him are wrestling, and I'm just gonna make something up. If you want to get good at throws, right, and you try to lat drop him, and he takes you straight to your back, right? Obviously, in a match you pick, or at least get 3 and 4, or 4 and freestyle, and 3 and some back, so maybe a 7-point swing in a folk style match, right? You know, shame on me as coach dad that I got an older son who's wrestling in college right now, and this is a true story. This guy would go into practice. I kid you not. I don't know. It was like 7th, 8th grade, maybe 9th grade. He'd go into practice every day, and every single person in the room pinned him because he kept trying to throw people. That was he saw it, he thought it was cool. So he got real creative at getting pinned by throwing himself to his back. It was absurd, right? So his freshman year happens, you know, whatever. And then his sophomore year, so mind you, I think this was 8th grade, in 9th grade, he didn't really throw too many times in matches, but he did throw in practice. And when he did throw in matches in 10th grade, he was throwing people on the top of their head. We went to the regional, he threw a couple pretty good kids on the top of their head. And I remember when he kept doing it, like, it annoyed me. I was like, dude, you don't even practice that. Like, why do you keep getting in these live situations and going over and under for no reason and throwing and pinning yourself? And I was like, could you please just stop? Like, it was annoying me, right? And shame on me, right? So probably took me about a day, maybe a day, half a day to come back. It's like, you know what, dude? If that's what you want to do, that's fine. You got to risk it. And that's funny that Frank said that, because I say something like that. Like, you got to risk it for the biscuit, right? And I guess shame on me as a coach, right? Because what did I just tell you about practice? This is where you try stuff. This is where you experiment. And needless to say, you know, I think his first college tournament, I think a quarterfinal or something like that, he threw some kid on top of his head in overtime, right? And I think back all the time when I see kids do stuff in the room that, like, I don't think is high percentage, like, my first instinct is to be like, now don't get me wrong, if, you know, the standard is the standard, right? Like, we ain't gonna be practicing fives if you can't, you know, get your head up and hips in and back straight, but you understand what I mean. Like, you gotta go into practice, like Coach Hayes said, and train and develop and keep leveling up. You need those XP points. You need them. It's super valuable. So with that being said, I'm gonna close this out with this activity. I want you, even if you don't do it right now, because I know everybody doesn't have enough pens, but I want you to write like 3 things that you really want to accomplish in your sport. So, and make it short term. Don't make it like, you know, I want to be an Olympic champion in 2024, right? It's already passed. It's not realistic, but maybe this upcoming year. So go ahead and write 3 goals that you want to accomplish in the next calendar year. Okay, now that you wrote those 3 goals, I want you to write down 3 actions that you can do to achieve those goals. So I'm gonna make one up, okay? I wanna be a state champ next year, right? So what's 3 things I can do to be a state champ? Matter of fact, I wanna be a state champ, I wanna get straight A's, and I wanna do a better job helping my parents out around the house, right? Son, you listening? Okay, just checking. That's funny, right? All right, so what can I do? 3 things I can do to be a state champ. I can make sure I'm in the weight room as designed. I want to make sure I get a workout in the morning. Maybe I'll stay after practice and work on my footwork. Do my stance and motion for 20 minutes after practice. Okay, check. What can I do to be a straight A student? Make sure I turn in all my assignments on time. Make sure I'm paying attention to class, and make sure I never miss a day of school. Check, right? I want to learn how to do a 360 on my skateboard, right? So every day, I'm gonna spend an hour on my skateboard working to hit my 360 kickflip. You get what I'm saying? Everybody got it? Okay, so now, goals are great, and that's fine, but it's the action steps. But don't just write the action steps down. Now I want you to take those 5 sentences and put them to work. So, like, I want you to, and I'm gonna ask you guys about it like individually before the week is out. Like, pick one of your goals and put anchors to it. And then when you're at home, do it with your other goals, right? So, what's a visual? What's an audiological goal? Like, just your 5 senses. Your hearing, sight, taste, touch, you know, smell. Like, what can you do? What anchors can you put in place to either focus you, refocus you, or get you ready to go? So, that's all I have. Thank you guys. Hope you get some value out of this. Have a good day.